you. Good to see all of you. I was a little skeptical whether people will be joining in this topic because it's something to do, it's a little vague, supposedly. But trust you me, it's really empowering when you get to know certain facts. And I was really very inspired by this documentary. Then I read the book and I did a whole lot of research. You know how I just delve into something once I find out. So I'm really excited about sharing this with y'all. So basically, what are blue zones? I have a whole lot of slides, but I think if I keep on showing you the slides every time, it may be a little distracting. So I'll play it by the ear, however it goes. And definitely, I'll share everything in the WhatsApp group later, so you'll have more clarity. Okay. So basically, what are blue zones? Let's come to that first thing. What are blue zones? I hope a lot of people have already seen the documentary, so you have an idea of what it is. For you, it's going to be a very nice summary as well as a reinforcement of what you can do, your purpose of life, and how you can, kind of contribute to making a blue zone in your area. Actually, that is my motive here, that every individual can, in their own little way, do something somewhere so that they create a blue zone in their community, their area, so which will help them because they lead a longer, happier, healthier life, as well as their sense of purpose or their commitment or whatever they're doing, their ikigai is going to help other people too. So isn't it beautiful when you can do something innately which is a give and take and which will benefit everybody, right? So we are going to think a little beyond ourselves and our horizons and think of everybody else also. So basically, blue zones are those specific regions in the world where people live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Okay, I repeat, longer, healthier, and happier. So can you imagine? This is what we all strive for, right? So there was this American guy who went around, Dave. His name is, wait, the pronunciation is a little worry for me. Butner, Dave Butner. Okay, he was sponsored by National Geographic and he went around for 20, 30 years just surveying all over the world. He went trying to find out which countries or which communities in the world have the longest living people, as in centenarians, people over 100. Okay, people over 100, 90, 105. Where is it in the world that people have the happiest, longest, healthiest life? So what he discovered was that there are 5 regions in the world, okay, where people have amazing longevity and the quality of life is absolutely brilliant. They are living till 100. You have a 105-year-old guy who's like a cowboy, who's sitting on a horse and riding around. You have people who are 100 years old who are harvesting grape fields. You have people in Okinawa, Japan. You have people who, old women, great grandchildren, they're sitting and laughing with their family. So they are living and living and living, but they're not living with disease. They're living with zest. They're living with so much energy. They're so dependent, independent. And the beauty of it is that it has nothing to do with high tech technology. It has nothing to do with hospitals. It has nothing to do with healthcare. It has nothing to do with money and how affluent you are. Okay, it is about the environment. So, this whole study about the blue zone is that what if you make your environment in such a way that you automatically are nudged to become healthier? And once you are healthier, you lead a happier life. And when you're happy, your longevity automatically increases. Okay. So there are 5 blue zones in the world. One is Ikaria in Greece, Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Loma Linda in California, and Nioka in Costa Rica. So he went around doing this research for years, detailed research, and he found out that it is only in these 5 places in the world, which are strewn all over. You have to realize there are different terrains, different localities, different countries, but there he found that these 5 places had amazing, old people living very happily. So after that, what he did was he went and he compiled a kind of 9-point program where he consolidated all that he knew all that he understood from these 5 places. And the gist of that is a 9-point program, which if we can implement, or if we can even understand first and then try to see what we can do, the quality of life will improve, the longevity will improve, the happiness factor will improve, everything will improve. And this is based on, not on hearsay, but on hardcore research and study and experiences with lots of centenarians, based on these 5 places: Ikaria, Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Linda Loma, California; and Nicoya. Okay, so this word was coined by Dan Brutner, and he named these blue zones. Blue zones because I think blue is such a beautiful color. It signifies water, purity, a color of Archangel Michael that I've added. Huh? He hasn't said, but for me, it signifies a whole lot of these things. Okay, so these are the blue zones. Wait, let me show you the few pictures. Maybe you'll feel better. Can you all see this? Okay, this is Sardinia, Italy. This is Ikaria, Greece. This is, of course, Japan, Okinawa. This is Loma Linda in California. And this is Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. Okay. Now what we are going to focus on is this 9-point program, which I'm going to take each program and I'm going to each point, and we are going to discuss this in detail. So the Blue Zone project is built on the foundation of the power of 9. The 9 health lifestyle habits are shared by the people in the 5 original Blue Zones. So one is move naturally. Second is know your purpose. Third is downshift. 4 is 80% rule. Fifth is plan slant. Sixth is wine at the rate of 5. Seventh is family first. 8 is belong. And 9th is right tribe. Okay. So one common denominator that is there in all these people is that they move naturally throughout the day. Okay, it's not that they are going to a specific gym for 1 hour or working out or doing something and then they going back and leading a sedentary life, or they have a routine where in the morning and evening they're exercising and in the day they're going with the routine. The point is their environment and habit is such that through the entire day they are moving around little. You understand? So what happens is their metabolism is better, and in the end of the day you realize that they have digested and they have consumed more energy and calories than any kind of exercise put together. Where, see, this guy is from America, okay, the researcher. So every time he's comparing with America, but you can compare with your own lifestyle too. So the point is, the main point that we get, number one, is to move naturally. So instead of making a routine where you exercise in the morning, okay, you do whatever in the morning and the whole day you are lax, make a routine or change your environment in such a way that throughout the day you are doing small movements. Okay, I'll just give an example. In my house, in my parents' house, they are absolutely Gandhian, believing in a very simple lifestyle, doing things themselves. So for them, I realized this was a natural order because they never kept any person help to open the door. So whenever there was a bell which is ringing, they used to go up and open the door. Got it? So this is a point of exercise which is happening automatically because the environment is supporting them. You can take it as a negative or you can take it as a positive. But now after the study which has come out, you understand that this is the biggest positive possible because you are forced to do certain things which otherwise you would just wait for your help to go and open the door, right? Or if you don't use the lift, there is no lift. In my parents' house, there is no lift. So they automatically take the stairs up and down. They have no choice. Their environment is making them move naturally. So what you need to do very consciously now, if you want to inculcate one of the first points about the blue zone, is you have to form a routine where you are moving naturally. So in fact, before I injured my foot and fractured my toe and I was not allowed to move for a month and a half, I had started doing 10,000 steps for a good 1 month just before I fell. And that was only because I had seen this book, a documentary, and read the book, and I realized it's so easy. So since morning I used to start counting the steps, of course. So after lunch I was moving, after, in between I was moving. Every time I was moving, I was being conscious. I told my maid, you please don't open the door, I'll do it. And by the end of the day, before sleeping, I realized I was crossing 10,000, 12,000 steps. Earlier, what I was doing, it I was fixing this time at 5 o'clock I need to walk, and I used to walk for 6,000 steps, and my back used to ache, and it was just one very focused, concentrated thing. So instead of that, if you can make movement natural, a part of your daily routine, and if you can change your environment in such a way that it aids you, set certain rules that, okay, this I need to do myself. Like earlier in our families, you see the old people, they used to go and get the milk. They used to go, and we used to go to the sabji wala. After online and stuff like that, even that movement has stopped. Correct. So now consciously you have to understand that natural movement is absolutely compulsory. That is what is going to take care, and it should not be a burden. It should not be something which you are doing cerebrally. Your environment has to support you. So what Dan is saying, that instead of changing yourself, change your environment. Okay, it is called the nudging process. We'll come to this in the end, how Singapore has become a manufactured blue zone, and it's brilliant what Singaporeans have done. I'll come to that in the end. But the point is, learn to move naturally and change your environment in such a way that you are compelled naturally to move. Okay, so if you see this, if you read this book, see this documentary, you'll see this, all those people either used to walk to church or go to the market, or they were doing some gardening, they were going up and down, either their houses were up where there were no lifts. Everywhere they needed natural movement, they were cooking themselves. So all these movements, all these things were adding health and longevity to their lives unconsciously. Okay, so that is number one. Number two, and my most favorite one is, and that is why I was so excited about doing this session, is you have to have a purpose in life. They always had a purpose. Know your purpose. Okay, so the Okinawas in Japan, they called it Ikigai. Y'all must have read the book Ikigai. A lot of people are aware of the book Ikigai. Here also they talk about Ikigai, that every person has to have a purpose beyond just his normal work, his children, his house. It has to be something beyond, something that makes you the meaning of Ikigai. The Nicoans call it plan di vida. They call it plan di vida, and the Okinawas in Japan call it Ikigai. So what is this? This is something which makes you get up in the morning. What is your purpose in life? What, like I always say, I have found my ikigai since I have made this journey with gratitude. It excites me to another level, that I have to do another session, I have to do so much research, I have to prepare, I'm going to connect with so many people, right? That gives me a different kind of adrenaline rush. I feel so charged. So what is it? I have found my ikigai. I have found my purpose in life, that why do I wake up in the morning? So every person, once you find your ikigai, you will realize that you are much healthier automatically. So what you need to do is, you need to sit and think that, okay, it's first starts with the intention, friends. It doesn't come automatically, right? Everything starts first with an intention, that, okay, I need to do more. You all know my story, right? At the age of 48, I was literally sitting and telling the universe, calling out that, please, I need to do something more. This is not enough for me. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm not feeling happy. There is some vacuum in my life. That is because I was searching for my ikigai. I wanted to do something more. So, similarly, friends, you too need to find out what is it that makes you smile, that makes you excited every morning. It can be a simple thing like going to a slum school, like my mother used to go to Disha and teaching children. It can be a simple thing like going to old age homes. It can be a simple thing like just doing anything that brings you, yeah, cooking, cooking something which is of good health, knowing about it more and sharing with your family, spreading it around. So just find out what is painting. It can be painting, it can be anything, which ultimately you just don't use it for yourself, but you use it for the benefit of others too. So if you all know the meaning of ikigai, let me just elaborate that, because that is very important. There are so many slides. Okay. Hmm. So basically, Ikigai is, wait, let me show you that chart. Ikigai is basically having that purpose in life. Okay. This we'll do another chapter on Ikigai separately. Okay. Having that purpose in life where you are thinking beyond yourself and it gives you a reason to wake up. So, like I said, the second point is having that kind of purpose that you will realize. And now I think it's high time that every single person starts thinking like this. And like I said, it starts with the intention. First, you have to seek, first, you have to understand that I need to do more. Once you reach that level, by the law of attraction, by God's grace, by divine timing, automatically things will fall in place. But first set that intention that I need to find that something which gives me purpose in life and which makes me, when I sleep, I feel content. I feel that okay, I have done something good today. Okay, that purpose in life is something which every single person needs to do. And nowadays, with the kind of platforms there are thousand things that a person can do. It doesn't have to be something where money is involved. It is just about time, energy, and intention. Okay. So, number two is find your ikigai. Number three, what these people do is something called downshift. Downshift means that these people, everybody has stress. Okay. Everybody has stress, but it doesn't mean that these people don't have stress. But oh, I found what ikigai is. Okay. Translated, the word ikigai means a reason to live, or more specifically, the reason to get up in the morning. Okay, please note this down. The reason to get up in the morning. So it basically is a combination of what you love. Okay, what is your passion? What is it that you love? What the world needs? What is your mission? Okay, and what are you good at? What is your vocation? And what are you paid, what do you get paid for? Your profession. There are four pillars of ikigai: your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. Let me give you an example of why I say I found my ikigai. What do I love? I love sharing. I love sharing whatever knowledge I have found out. I love talking. This is my passion, right? You all can make out how passionate I am about the way I explain things and the way I speak. So that is my passion. What the world needs, your mission. So I feel that the world really needs positivity and gratitude. And if you just are there for some people, if you can just give a helping hand, then you realize that you are able to add smiles, right? I feel that talking to me, people feel better, or I can go and approach somebody and they feel better. I can lift somebody up who's feeling down. I can just give a piece of advice because I have studied so much about all this. So, this is something which the world needs. Number three, is it your vocation? Are you good at it? I feel I'm really very good at it because it is my passion. It comes naturally to me. When I have to do some research for any of my talks, I get on full. You cannot imagine the kind of energy that I get. And I'm very good at that. And do you get paid for it? Of course, I get paid for it by Dell. When I do these sessions with y'all and I charge some energy exchange, I get paid for it, right? So there are different ways of energy exchange too. So a combination of all this has made this my ikigai. And this is something that motivates me more than anything in the world because I'm so passionate about doing live talks, meeting people, spreading joy, spreading the message of gratitude, right? So this is my ikigai. Similarly, you need to find your ikigai, what it is. That is that purpose in life, the reason why you are getting up in the morning. That is very, very important. Okay. So downshift, the third point, like I said, which they were talking about, we finished with move naturally, know your purpose. That is the Ikigai of Plan D Viva. Now, number three is downshift. What do you mean by downshift? Downshift means that stress is a part of life, right? That cannot go away. It's not that those people are living in a different planet and they don't have any stress, but they were very careful that they did so many things so that they were not every time entrapped in the quagmire of life with all its problems. So, like for example, the people in Linda Loma, they believed a lot in praying. Okay, they always did prayers. The Okinawas in Japan were always praying to their ancestors. Okay, the Sardinians were sitting and having wine. The people in Greece had this time of siesta where they always slept in the afternoon. So you understand what you mean by downshift. It is not about being productive every single time and every time moving on in a space where you're thinking that I need to do something, I need to do something. And if I don't do something, if I'm not doing something productive, I'm wasting time, I'm not worth it, you don't respect yourself. No. The point is that understanding that you need to downsize to make it small in order to live a longer life. You need to make it smaller, simpler, and in order to be happier. You will automatically stop feeling guilty, and you will start making your life in such a way where you are able to handle your stress. So you can do your prayers, you can do your meditation, you need to take your nap, you can sit in the evening and have wine with your family, you can do whatever, but you need to do these things in order to lead a happy life. So what is happening right now is that people are every time on the move. Whole day they're working, morning they have this whole gym routine, okay, and then they are off to office, then they come back, then they have the social outings, and then they go to sleep, and then there's Netflix and so many serials in between, right? So where is the time where you are actually sitting and downsizing your life and make it simpler? And you can also call this me time, you can also call this time when you're connected to God, whatever, but you need to downsize your life. You can't make it so busy and hectic. And this is especially true for the youngsters and the Gen X and the young adults whose life is so hectic that they don't understand that this is what is leading to burden, to so much stress that in turn leads to heart attacks and heart diseases and blockages. And you end up, so many people in their 40s are dying with heart attacks, right? They are apparently very healthy, yet they just die. Just that is because their life is so hectic. They are not balancing it in the right way. So every single person in these five blue zones, okay, all these people knew how to downsize their life. They understood that the concept, this is mainly American concept of being every time in the move. In fact, when I go to New York, I often get so overwhelmed and I get so upset with the whole pace. It really gets on to you because everybody is so busy doing something. But is it healthy? Is it something which will add longevity? Is it making you happy? That's $1 million question. So research has showed that you need to actually downsize. Okay, so that was point number 3. Now, this is another very interesting point, rule. So, what does this mean? And this was specially followed by the Japanese Okinawas. What they used to do is they call it Hari Hachibu. It's a very beautiful word. I love the word. There's so many Japanese words that we picked up, so don't worry. They called it Hari Hachibu. Hari Hachibu means as soon as your stomach is full 80%, you stop eating. Leave alone overeating. They don't even recommend eating till your stomach is full. So everybody used to say Hari Hajibu means right now my stomach is 80% full and I have stopped eating. That is one very big secret for healthy living. Your body automatically becomes healthier when you don't eat to the full, leave alone eating, overeating. And there are a whole lot of diets, okay, whole lot of diets and plans and stuff like that which are available, which I'll share with y'all also. Y'all don't need to follow that. What y'all need to understand are certain simple essences, the essence of this thing. Okay, so what I said was, it is called Hari Hachibu, or the 80% rule. Please do not overeat or eat a little less than what you could have eaten. अगर आप 2 रोटी खाते थे तो 1.5 रोटी खाओ. If you're having 1 cup of rice, just substitute, take out a little and eat little lesser. It doesn't matter. It is healthier that way. Okay, tell your children also, when your children nahi khaya, nahi khaya, nahi khaya, please unke piche mat pado. It's better to eat less than to eat more. Okay, so you have to understand this concept. Parents especially have to understand this. Parents and grandparents who force children to eat, that if you eat only 80% of your appetite, it is really, really good. My throat is a bit. Another very interesting thing that happens in all these five blue zones is he's called it plant slant. It means that you'll be shocked that most of the people there are having plant based diets. Okay, they are having vegetables, they are having beans. It is called plant slant because most of the people, I'll share a few slides where you talk about, where you understand that everybody there is having literally no meat. And if they have meat at all, that is also in very specific occasions like a celebration. That is the time they have meat, and that too a very, very small portion. See, for Indians or for a Marwari like me, I know it's very easy to adopt this because we are by, we are by Okinawa, Japan is having maximum sweet potato. And look at the fish, meat, and poultry, that is only 2%. Maximum is sweet potato, and fish and poultry is only 2%. The same thing goes for Nicoya, only 5% meat. Linda Loma, California, only 4% meat and poultry. Sardinia, Italy, only 5% meat, fish, poultry. Ikaria, Greece, only 5% meat, 6% fish. Fish many consider veg, but only 4%, 5% meat. So basically, all these centenarians, all these regions where there is longevity, they have plant-based food. So please get away from the misconception that you need to have non-veg in order to be healthy, or you need to have non-veg in order to get your protein or your supplement. In fact, my dad's favorite dialogue used to be, "Hathi bhi to ghansi khata hai," right? And he's that hathi is a vegetarian and one of the most powerful animals possible. So please understand that all these regions, these five regions, they thrive on legumes and beans and sweet potato and green vegetables and tofu and all non-processed food. That is a given, right? But the thing here is that they do not have meat, as we commonly believe that people who are meat eaters are stronger and healthier. That's absolutely a misnomer. Okay. Okay, one good thing for people who have wine, who like to drink wine, it is recommended that you have a glass of red wine at 5 or with your friends. I'll come to how you do it. You need to have wine with your friends and family, not sitting alone. The Sardinians are very, very famous for sitting with a whole group of people and having their sipping their glass of wine, which was specially fermented and made in a special way. So wine is recommended for good health. And there's a study that people who drink a bit of wine are healthier than teetotalers. But this is absolutely your choice. Then another thing that these people believe in is family first. Okay, we think that it's very natural. Here we are talking of America, right, where people send their parents to old age homes, or children and families, children and their mother parents don't live together. In India, the concept of joint family or parents living together is very common. Abroad, it is not. For them, it is a very big thing that the family is living together. But it is said that if your grandparents and your children and the whole family is living together, then life is much better. I think there's automatically so much sharing of thoughts, of emotions, of you're not lonely, because loneliness is one of the biggest problems. People who are lonely die early. People who are lonely are the saddest. People who are lonely are, I think it's the saddest thing to be lonely in this world. Like, there's a whole crowd, but you are alone, right? Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. So all these people in these five zones made sure that they took care of the old people. They did not send them to old age homes. They made sure that the old people were there living with them, the grandchildren were communicating with the elders were contributing to their studies, taking them to school, making breakfast, maybe the children were playing with them. So this kind of very conscious, mindful decision making was there, that the family is going to stay together and family comes first. Okay. Now, why is it that in India, if you see, we are vegetarians, most of us. Oh, okay, fine. We think we eat a lot of plants. We are already living with family. We all do are very religious. We do prayers and everything, but not a single place in India is even a part of the blue zone. Why is that? Because maybe, it's like a farce. The elderly people are staying with you, but how much are you communicating actually? How much love are you giving them? How much of your time are you giving them? Just staying together in the same building, you're staying in different rooms and you don't talk to each other, you don't give love, you don't hug each other, you don't communicate. So then it's a farce. The point is, if you're living together, you need to play games together. You've seen youngsters, they play board games with their फ्रेंड्स, दिवाली पार्टी हो रहा है, पोकर पार्टी हो रहा है, ताश पार्टी हो रहा है, वहां करेंगे, पर घर में आर यू सिटिंग इन योर हाउस एंड डूइंग ऑल दैट विथ योर फैमिली? That is what you mean by family first. It is not about just living in the same building and hardly talking to each other and every time just criticizing, and you are there because it is a compulsion. In India, most of the time people live together because it's a compulsion, right? So you need to change that and understand that if you live as a family together and actually you share and love and spend time together, it will add to your happiness and to your longevity and your better health. So from now on, when you are in your family, be more mindful, please. Be more grateful that because you are there, because there are so many people there, you're not going through the biggest disease on earth, which is called loneliness. You cannot imagine how lonely people are abroad. When you go there, you'll understand. Like, I go there so often and I see how they literally crave for company. So if you have your family, doesn't mean they have to stay with you, but you please make sure that you feel connected to them, you spend time with them, worthwhile time, give them the present of your presence. If you are with them, don't sit and, you gaye ho kisi se milne, dadi, nani, whatever, half the time you're on a mobile and you just make a big farce about going and meeting them. No, sit with them, hear their stories, listen to them, tell them about your things. That is where the bonding comes in. That is what the sharing is all about. That is what you mean by family first. Okay, so from now on, please remember, it is going to belong. This is also something we all think that we have, and belong means that everybody is somewhat spiritually connected to some religion, some faith, some kind of belief. Okay, these five zones, either they go to church or they are going to their masses or they're doing meditation or they're doing some kind of chanting, right? So you have to understand that if you belong to a certain faith or a religion, or you follow a certain community where there is a kind of, binding factor, then that also helps you in longevity. So everybody is encouraged. Okay, you are somebody like I, for example, I believe in all kind of religions. Okay, I believe in all goodness, all kind of religions, but whatever it is, stick to that faith. Either your faith is gratitude, or your faith is whatever your faith is, whatever gives you that purpose, that okay, if I'm doing this puja, okay, there's a certain ritual or a puja I do in the morning which makes me feel very good, just go for it. You don't have to give an explanation to anybody. Okay, supposing there's a certain routine of you going to a temple every Friday, or you are doing a fast every whatever you're doing. Okay, please understand that once you are following this certain routine, you belong to that faith or that thing, and that will help you, because it gives you a kind of satisfaction, it gives you a certain space, it gives you security. So like I say, when you're doing Saint Expedite, it doesn't mean आप हनुमान जी को भूल गए हैं. Your faith is your faith. Your Om, your whatever your religion is will always belong to you, and be absolutely clear that you identify with that, and there is no harm. And that doesn't mean you start judging the others and you become a fanatic. You understand, right? The difference between fanaticism एंड रिलीजन, वेयर यू बिकम ओवरबोर्ड. जब बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है तब वो फैनेटिक हो जाता है. जैसे पेट्रियाटिज्म, कोई पेट्रियाटिक होता है ना, देशभक्त, जब वो बहुत ज्यादा करता है तो वो टेररिस्ट बन जाता है. सो अपने को देशभक्त बनना है, अपने को फैनेटिक्स नहीं बनना है, right? So follow whatever faith you have, do your meditation, follow your spirituality, you make sure that you have something you can fall on. I know a lot of people in America who say they're atheists. I'm saying America because both my boys live there and I get a lot of info from them. They atheists, they don't believe in God. So I just feel very sad for them. I feel, oh my God, it's so simple, why don't you believe? Your life will be easier. How does it matter? How does it matter? It's just that you feel that you have some certain kind of support, right? These people have more of a battle. I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. It's so much easier to believe than not believe, I feel. Okay, you put your logical mind to rest and just believe from the heart, right? So if you are though a believer, if you are somebody who is led by faith, if you are spiritually inclined and you follow the path of spirituality, you will have a longer, happier and healthier life. And that is not something which I am saying, that is what research has proved. Okay. And the last thing which these people have in common is right tribe. I always keep saying, right, that human beings are not meant to live alone. It is overrated going on a solo trip. I realize I told you all this before, that my younger son said before going to America, I want to go for a solo trip. It's the in thing right now. I said, how can anybody be happy in a solo trip? I said, no, no, mom, I want to go for a solo trip. And he went to Vietnam for a solo trip. But I realized there too, what he was doing is he was trying to find groups of people with whom they can go. Supposing they were going trekking somewhere, it had to be a group. Or he was staying somewhere in a dorm. He was interacting and networking with those people. So it doesn't, solo trip also means that you are actually in a group where you are meeting other people who have come alone and you're going. So how does that become solo? So see, man is a gregarious animal. By human beings, the Homo sapiens, by default, we are people who need other people. You cannot live alone. If you accept that fact that you cannot live alone and there's a codependency, okay, there's a codependency, your ego will go for a toss. You will realize that you need the other person, be it your help, be it your husband, be it your father, your friend, your society. You need that. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to have a right tribe. So in Okinawa, Japan, what they used to do is very consciously, they used to form groups called Muay. Okay, that's also another Japanese word, Muay. Muay means group of 5, 6 people. Okay, they used to form it right in the beginning, and some of these Muayas lasted for 90 years. They used to look out for each other. That's like a support group. Okay, that friend is looking out for the other one, that friend is looking for the other one. Every morning you make a call or you check whether the other person is okay or not. You're meeting together, you're eating, you're drinking, you're gossiping, right? So a Muay, what happens is that gives you a sense of community and that makes you happier. Because like I said, one cannot live alone. In India too, we have kitty parties, right? Why somebody can tell me we have so many kitty parties here where people are getting together. But please understand the essence there often is more about show off, more about politics, more about gossiping. You need to have the right kind of people who support you. People with healthy habits who will say, let's go for a hike. People say, okay, let's have some healthy meal. Let's discuss something spiritual. So you have to make sure that you have the right tribe, you have the right muai. That is very, very important because, like you also know, that you are the average of the 5 people you mix with. So make sure that you find those right 5, 6 people in your Moai. Find one where you will be supported in your journey of leading a healthier and happier life. Okay. So basically, these were the just common to all the blues. I'm sure I've understood everything. Now let's come to the most interesting part, which is how has how these are natural blue zones, okay, which have been where you have people who are living for 100 years, 105 years. They're beautiful. Everybody should watch the documentary if you have the bandwidth. Now let's come to Singapore, the favorite part. So this guy that we were discovered that Singapore is one place which is kind of a manufactured blue zone. So what has happened there is I never knew earlier that the government also thinks so much, and it is a matter of policy. They realize that their population is slowly becoming old age centric. A lot of people, most of the people are old. So what they have done is, instead of changing the environment, they call it the policy of nudging. Okay, what they have done is, they have changed the whole country in such a way, they have planned it in such a way that people are automatically doing all these nine things. Number one, they have made sure that cars are very, very heavily taxed in Singapore. Okay, it is 1.5 or 2 times more than what is available in America. And after that, you have to pay a learning fee also once you have a car. So literally, people don't have cars there. It is a luxury and it is absolutely unnecessary. So what happens is, and local transport is subsidized. So every person makes sure that he has to walk, he has to go to the subway or the local transport, and he goes to the office. So what they have done is, they have planned it in such a way through policy, okay, through taxes, through policy, changing the environment, that automatically people have to walk. Right? Isn't that brilliant? Number two, in fact, if you read, you'll understand that in America, most people are just sitting in cars. Why America? India also. You just don't have that space where you can walk. Even if you want to walk in India, where do you walk? At least Delhi, I saw it has these gated communities where it is possible. You know, you have these little gated communities, other places you don't have. So, Singapore, number one, they did that. Okay. Number two, they made sure, like, they subsidized healthy food. Brown rice is cheaper than white rice. Green vegetables are cheaper than soda. You know, so they made the healthier food cheaper. So what happened was, automatically people were buying that. Right. So that is again change in policy. Number three, what they did was, which was unthinkable for Americans, they capped the level of sugar in their soda and cold drink. So automatically, people were having drinks which had lead sugar. There was no choice. And they made a conscious decision that sugar is killing, right? We all know that sugar literally kills. So, what Singapore has done is, it has capped the level of soda. Then, one very beautiful thing which they've done is, it's called the Housing Proximity Grant. Okay. So, what they have done is, they realize that if older people and their families live together, okay, then they're automatically healthy. Like I said, no, family first. Living together with your family promotes health. And obviously, if you are healthy, healthcare expenses also goes down. Okay, because everywhere it's not possible to have so much healthcare and hospitals and medical bills, and it's a huge expense. So if you don't want to spend that kind of money, what do? You stay healthy, right? How do you stay healthy? By having your community, having your family together. So what they did was, they had a policy where, if you bought a house closer to your family, okay, to your parents, or the children bought a house which is closer to their parents, or the parents bought a house which is closer to the children, they were given a huge sum of money, just like that. So what happened is, this prompted people to shift and buy houses near their parents and closer to the family. So what happens if there's any problem, health problem, instantly the family is there to take care. Isn't this idea so brilliant? See how, just through policy, they are forcing and nudging people to do the right things. They are not telling those people, you should be doing this. They have subsidized and made laws like that, that people are automatically shifting towards their families. Plus, they have a housing complex for the age of people above 55, which is like a sandwich, where on top they have a terrace. Then they have the top floor is where the old people stay. Then they have another floor where the others are staying, and down in the last section you have supermarkets and everything. So automatically those people have to climb downstairs, go up, there is movement. They go to this terrace and they are doing gardening, and they are walking in the green. So these are all things that have been done by the government in order to replicate a blue zone where you are eating healthy, where you have sense of, and plus it has 350 parks, if I'm not mistaken. And those parks, all those parks have little sponsored by the government, either yoga or some kind of health exercise or something, everything sponsored by the government. And if a person has to go to work, he has to pass through those parks, and then he will reach his place because he doesn't have a car anyway. So this is a manufactured blue zone where the environment is supporting health and happiness. So when I just saw this entire thing about Singapore, I was I've been to Singapore so often, I never thought in that way that a government too can think so much about a person. Okay. By the way, this Dan Brutney also went to America after he did this whole study on the blue zone, and he tried to replicate in a small town in Minnesota. There too, after, you know what they did is they kind of made muais. This is that muai, the Japanese thing I'm talking about, with community of five. So they made people join programs. They did social, you know, you need did different activities where you have potluck, your meeting. They had social service. As soon as you start doing social service and you start doing voluntary work, there is something that happens that makes you feel very good. Something, and happiness factor just bubbles inside you when you're doing some good thing, especially voluntary work, social service and all, and that increases longevity. So there too, this entire exercise was such a big hit that people calculated that age had increased by minimum 20 to 30%. And then, the like I said, the most popular or most recent manufactured blue zone is, of course, Singapore, where the government is aiding and changing the environment. So th- we can't do something, like we can't go and tell the government to do what Singapore has done. Okay, that is a small place, it is manageable, everything is in their control. That's why they are so strict about drugs, right? We all know that in Singapore, if you are, there are cameras everywhere, because they treat each and every individual as their asset. They say we don't have any assets, our people are assets, and we have to take care of them. That is how they think, and through policy they have made an environment where people are thriving, and the people are, of course, supporting them too. So now, as individuals, tell me, as individuals, as part of this journey with gratitude, you as a human being, what can you do in your own capacity? That is my main thing. In your own capacity, what can you do in order to become a member of a blue zone and kind of create that environment in your community? Trust you me, there are so many things you can do, right? If you actually think about it and set the intention that ठीक है, मेरे को भी कुछ करना है. Number one, I'm going to start walking and I'm going to tell my friend, चलो मेरे साथ चलो. You can be that one person who can help the other one, right? So instead of walking alone, you find that friend, reach out to people. You cannot live alone. You have to network, but do it for the right reasons. Do it because you want to lead a happier life, healthier life, and you want to do the same for your people. And the kind of satisfaction you will get is a different level, right? You can make this your ikigai, that from now on I'm going to follow these 9 patterns. I'm going to share these slides with you so you all can go in full detail with it. Okay, I am going to do something more than this. Okay, so I am going to, now, number one, naturally, I'm going to move. I'm going to inspire my husband. I'm going to do it first. Okay, I'm going to eat plant based food. I'm going to cut down on my meat. And it is a fallacy, or it is a misnomer that only non vegetarian foods are healthy or are protein givers. All plant based diet, you'll find thousands plant based diet. I'll share a few. That is something which leads to healthy life. Number three, from now on, you will stop hari hachi bu. As soon as your stomach is 80% full, you will stop eating. Okay, if you are healthy, you have to understand your children will love you more, your husband will love you more, your friends will love you more. Who likes a person who is always ill? So do it for them. If that is your motivation, actually, you should do it for yourself, because you have to understand that if you are healthy, everything, health is wealth. Fact of the matter remains, right? Health is wealth, especially now. So make sure that you follow this policy of Hari Hachi Bu. And what you can do is find your own Muay. Find those community of 5, 6 people who support your journey, who eat healthy, who walk around, who are spiritually inclined, who are helping you with your habits. Sit and discuss with them. This will automatically lead to a happier and healthier life, right? What was the other one? Family first. Yes, from now on, make sure that when you say family first, you are giving the time and attention that they need, the love that they need. Just living together in the same building, if that was one factor for longevity, India would have been number one, but we are nowhere. Because now only basically it's a sham. People are in their own rooms, they're so involved with their gadgets, they're living together, but how much time are you spending together? That is important. Spending time together, doing activities together, sharing, laughing. So don't do it always with your friends. Please remember, your family is your support structure, it is your spine. So mindfully from now on, make sure that you spend time with the family. And what was it? Belong to a certain community of faith. Whatever you do, do it with pride, do it with full, conviction that I'm doing this because it makes me feel good. If I do Hanuman Chalisa in the morning and I feel good, there is nobody to tell me anything else. If I do this prayer, if I do this meditation, if I do this certain thing, I feel good, just do it. The point is, it's your journey, it is it is about your own self, right? So do that also. And find the right tribe. I already told you about that. And yes, the most important, my favorite, find your sense of purpose, find your ikigai, find the reason to get up in the morning and smile and live. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be anything that gives you joy and makes you feel worthwhile. And the day you start sharing, okay, like for a simple thing, like supposing you decide that I'm going to take care of this road. In fact, in America, I saw a whole lot of signs where they had said, adopt this road, adopt this highway. So, supposing you just adopt one road and decide that you're going to take care of all the street dogs, you're going to take care of the litter, you're going to make sure that all the dustbins are clean, you're going to make sure that that you are, that the roads are good, and you're telling the municipal, instead of just grumbling, dekho kitna ganda hai, do something about it. Maybe you can form a community, do something. Then you will start realizing that you have found something which is more than just yourself and your children and your job. Because let me tell you, that is hollow. After a point of time, you will feel that you are not happy. Why is it that you have everything yet you're not happy? Because you have not focused on your ikigai, you have not given time and attention. And one of the easiest way is to give to others. And trust you me, if you give, you get. It's law. It's absolute law, like gravity, that if you give with full good attention, in some way or the other, you will get, and you will lead a happier life. Okay, so friends, I was very excited about this blue zone thing because I realized we could implement so many things personally in our lives too, right? So from now on, demarcate a certain area, or maybe your house. Why don't you start with your house? Supposing we each decide that our house is a blue zone. Okay, my individual house is a blue zone, and I'm going to do what needs to be done for that. So start with yourself. Don't lecture your husband and your child and your son. They'll absolutely not, it will not work. It never works that way. It is always about working on yourself first. Okay, so blue zones are something I'll be sharing a whole lot of slides so you can read it again and again and understand the 9 points. They're so simple, and like I said, they are nothing to do with money, nothing to do with expensive health care, nothing to do with gym membership, nothing to do with expensive food. Okay, it is all about finding the right community, right people, being happy, and that is what we live for, right? So that we can lead a happier life in the end. So I hope I've been able to inspire all of you to, adopt some of these, pointers from the blue zone. And yes, next time when you go to Singapore, I want all of you all to see mindfully how the government actually has taken so much care to change the environment, and see what you can do for that. In what way can you help?